All right, guys, great news. The transmission is indestructible. I'm kidding. Well, AAMCO did the input shaft speed sensor, and they said all of the hard parts look good. Everything looks good. The only thing they said is there is a little bit of shift flare in between third and fourth, I believe, something like that. And I kind of chuckled because there's been shift flare since day one. And so for $600 or just under $600, it was new, like new transmission fluid, new transmission filter, and they had to drop the valve body to replace the sensor, and so that was included. And I mean, I think it's a fair price. You guys are gonna have to let me know. I'm not sure how hard it is. I just dropped off the truck and kind of took off. Either way, the almighty Ison lives on. I really wish I could say the same about the rest of the truck. Okay, hold on. Okay, so what I did this last time, or since the last video, okay? I hope you guys can hear me okay. It's so cold and it's there's a little bit of wind, and obviously the truck is in high idle. But what I did, so when I took my truck to AAMCO, they said I had a bad ECM. The ECM is right behind your CP3, somewhere in there. But anyway, so the ECM, I bought a refurbished ECM on eBay, 500 something bucks, and it came tuned with my VIN. And so I replaced it myself. It's actually four bolts, and that's it. So I did that myself, and it does seem like some of the check engines are gone. Some of the sensor codes that I kept consistently having, they're gone. But it's still idled kind of rough. And so what ended up happening is I took it to the regular guys. I get my tires and stuff like that. They end up taking a look at it, reading the check engines. They find out it's the valve cover gasket, which is also your injector harness. And so they replaced the harness, but for some reason I also lost injector number 4. So then I had to go buy a new injector as well, which those suckers aren't cheap. It was $600, but I returned my injector for a $150 core charge. So technically the injector was $450, and then whatever they charged me for labor, I'm not even sure. Regardless, it's like, so they did the harness, which was a couple $100. They did the injector. I'm not sure. It might have had something to do with that. I did the Titan fuel tank, and so like all the diesel was gone. Oh, look, you can see it right there, hanging a little lower. And so maybe because I was really low on diesel. Oh, hold on. Can you see it? Okay, there it is. See, no sump anymore. And so maybe because I was really low on diesel, some air got into the system and that ruined my 4th injector. Who knows? Long story short is this engine, 175,000, 200,000 maybe it should have on it. Injectors, it's too soon. Way too soon for that. What else did they do? I got a new belt, new water pump. That's more or less preventative because I didn't want to like have that explode on the road. I don't feel like that's a good idea. And then the other thing obviously is just oil oil change and fuel filters. But for the fuel filters, here's what they did. Oh no. Oh, you can't even see. Hold on. Okay. Right there. You see that? Those are cat fuel filters and the stock water separator. So it's a different system because I switched from the FAS fuel system, and so now I have the drop-in fleece lift pump. But my only complaint with that lift pump, right, even though, because I complained about it in that one video, but here's my complaint. They still had to run an aftermarket harness that came with the fleece system, and they had to run a relay and a fuse. So all my complaining and my forethought or my planning got me nowhere. I still have to I still ran an aftermarket harness, unfortunately. Well, anyways, you can't win them all. So what are the plans with this truck? Obviously, because I still owe money on it, I have to keep driving it. I have to keep working it until it just dies or falls apart so bad that I can't keep going, and then I'll just have to lease instead. But essentially, the future holds maintenance-wise I need to do the other 5 injectors because I don't want to have one going bad at all times. So I will do the other 5, and I might even keep that just one as a spare and just do all 6 again. But we'll see. The other thing is I need to do a valve adjustment as well. Obviously, if we're anywhere near 200,000 miles, it's probably due. And then closer to 300,000 miles, usually the actuator on the turbo fails. I already feel like it's on its way out. I'm not sure, but so I might have to do that sooner than, you know, later. But that's basically what the future holds for this truck. And, you know, this is why I say lease instead, because initially the lease might be a little bit less expensive, or the lease will be more expensive and buying will be less expensive. But on the back end is where you really start to overpay. This is why I say the lease is better, because initially the lease might be a little bit more expensive, but it stays the same. The cost never goes up. Whereas with a purchase truck or one that you finance, it gets really expensive towards the end of its life. So yeah, that's just, man. That's gonna do it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.